Picture life in the Netherlands in the 1870s. Then picture a moody Dutch boy. Regardless of whether you like art or know much about it, odds are you've heard of Van Gogh. He traveled Europe and made countless works of art. However, he was never famous when he was alive. In fact, he only ever sold one painting in his lifetime, and that's according to the artstory.org. Today, I'll be providing an in-depth look to one of the world's most renowned artists. I'm credible to speak in this area because I've taken multiple art classes, including art history and art analysis, and I go to art museums often. Despite the trauma he faced living in poverty and his own struggles with mental illness, he was able to persevere and create some vivid and lasting pieces of art. Together, we can better get to know the artist, Vincent van Gogh, by discussing first his childhood, second, trials and tribulations, and finally, his famous works. We will discuss his childhood in three aspects: his family, education, and early training. As far as family goes, he was the second born of 6 in a religious Dutch family. His dad was a clergyman and his mom was the daughter of a bookseller. And as far as education goes, at 16, he was forced to leave school, which many speculate was due to financial struggles. And that's coming from Vincent van Gogh's psychobiographical study. His early training included an apprenticeship in Paris at an art dealer, which he worked at for nearly a decade. Now that we've learned some info on his childhood, we can move on to some of the trials and tribulations he faced. We'll be looking at some struggles. And actually, according to Taylor and Francis 2010, an inherited metabolic disease, acute intermittent porphyria, accounts for all the signs and symptoms of Van Gogh's underlying illness. An American Journal of Psychiatry adds addictions and unhealthy coping habits to absinthe and cigarettes. Now that we've looked at some of the struggles he's faced, we'll be moving on to some accomplishments, including some really notable works of art. One is titled Starry Night. It's an oil on canvas, and it's probably one of the most well-known pieces of art in the world. Unlike most of his other paintings, it was painted from memory, not from landscape. And it's notable for its emphasis on emotions and its swirling brushstrokes. Another piece of art I chose to speak about is titled Self-Portrait with Bandaged Ear, and it actually has a bit of a disturbing backstory. After cutting part of his ear off during a manic episode, he chose to paint himself in recovery because he believed that painting was the key to restoring balance in life. And that's according to the Art Story Foundation. In conclusion, today we better got to know the artist Van Gogh because we first discussed his family, second, his trials and tribulations, and finally, his famous works. I hope you've enjoyed learning about a famous artist's life, and maybe you found an interest in art yourself. Remember that moody Dutch boy? He grew up to be a moody man on all accounts. He actually made 900 paintings, and most were created in the last 2 years of his life. He lived to 37, and it's a pity that he never got to see his sold-out exhibits or his paintings hanging in museums across the world. overall, he's a very influential and important person in art history. Thank you for watching.